A Nigerian adage says, ugliness with a good character is better than beauty. Character formation is the most important task a person has to undertake in his life, but it is so downplayed in today's society, which has led to the increase of the decadence society witnesses. My name is Chima, and today on Catholic Faith Forum, we will be talking about the importance of character formation. When we come back from this short break, we'll be meeting our wonderful guests who will be doing justice to this topic. Stick with us, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to your #1 Catholic Youth Show, where we discuss matters bordering on faith, morality, and popular culture. Today we are discussing the importance of character formation, and I have a very big fish in the house to discuss this topic with me. He is the Public Relations Officer of the prestigious University of Benin. His name, Mr. Michael Osasuyi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you in the studio today.
The pleasure is mine.
All right, sir. So we're talking about the importance of character formation, and it's like I said, there's a lot of societal decadence because people don't understand what it means to build character. So can you, from the scratch, tell us what character is?
Thank you very much. Character refers to the attributes which an individual is known for. Character can best be described as the mental or moral qualities of an individual. When we look at the word character, it's always everywhere. People talk about character this, character that. An individual possesses either good or bad characters.
Wonderful. So how does a person's character actually come into play in everyday relationships?
It's a very simple one. When you have friends whose attitude does not go down well with what you believe in, automatically that person ceases to be your friend. But when you possess those good qualities that people would want to see in you, it means that more persons will come to you. And so simply put, when your character sends people away, know that people will be away from you. But when you possess those good traits that makes people come to you, you are good to go.
Wonderful. So you mentioned something about morality when you were defining character a little while earlier. So can you just shed a little light about the morality in character?
When you look at morality in character, first, where we come from, we believe that whatever we do, we must have some sense of responsibility. When somebody who around you tends to always tell the truth at all times, you look at the person as somebody whose character is upright, that you want to associate with. When the person comes to you and tells you A is A, you already know that this person is morally upright. And then you are forced to conclude that this person is worth working with.
Wonderful. So if a person does not have the trait of being morally upright, does that put a flaw in all of the person's character? Is it a vital part of a person's character?
You have answered it. It is very, very vital. When people act and they are conscious of what they do, remember in the definition I told you that character is that quality in you that people see, or that thing that defines the real you. And when you deviate from it, it means that something is wrong. Now you look at character from different angles. You discover that some persons can tell you that this is what they like, and the next person comes in and tell you, this thing this person is doing does not go down well. It means that that thing has its own flaws.
Okay. So what other character traits do I need, do people need to build so that they can become better people?
Very, very simple. In the society today, the major one that we need to begin to look at is self-control. Many of us are so carried away by whatever we do that is not beneficial. At times you see some persons in class with a lecturer pressing their phones, doing a very different thing entirely. The phone is very useful, but what is needed is you must have that self-control to know that what you need at this point in time is not to press your phone, but rather to listen to instruction. But when you deviate from it, it becomes a problem. And so self-control is very vital. And then one also look at humility. An individual that is humble can surmount anything that comes his or her way. But when you are not humble and you look at things from your own angle, look at your ego all the time, it becomes a very, very big problem. And then above all, when somebody is humble, it means that that person should have respect for others around him. These and many more that you can keep mentioning are some of the traits that are needed.
All right, thank you so much for that, sir. So can you actually tell us a little bit about ego and how it takes away the nitty-gritty of a person's character? Or is a little bit of ego necessary for a person to, thrive in the world?
When you ask if a little bit of ego is necessary, in every human being, there is an ego. And that is one of the things we try to maintain. But when you now allow it go out of hand, it becomes a problem. When you now see yourself too much above every other person, it's a problem. And when you don't also maintain your ego, you end up rubbishing yourself when you are not supposed to. And so it means that you must balance the two.
Both.
Your character is inbuilt. Ego is inbuilt. But it now depends on how you now take them.
All right, sir. So attitude and character. Let's look at both of them now. Are they the same thing?
Character is inbuilt.
Yes.
Attitude is how you respond, how you view a particular thing. Your approach to things makes up the attitude. And so there are two different things, but they complement each other.
In what ways?
Now, for instance, if my friend smokes and I don't like smoking, the way I view his attitude, his smoking habit becomes, I see it from the negative angle. But if he does, and I also do, I don't see anything wrong in it. And so it is what is in me, that is part of me, that I begin to view along with the next person. Also look at somebody that is naturally dirty. If the person enters a place, his attitude towards whatever he or she sees is normal.
Normal.
And so the person sees the dirty nature as a normal thing. But when the person has this character that deals with neatness, if the person enters a place and the place is not neat, you see that the way the person views it differs.
Wonderful. All right, sir. You also mentioned friendships in relation to character. There's a popular saying that, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. But sometimes people usually keep a lot of friends because not only for survival purposes, but for human interaction purposes as well. And some of these attitudes that their friends exhibit, they don't take them up. So that saying is sort of invalidated about in such a scenario. So what do you have to say concerning that, sir? Does that saying really, does a person's friendships really form or affect his or her character in a negative or a positive way?
Now, when you look at the topic, character formation, you discover that the character is formed over time from different sources. For those of us in my university, we will discover that when they come from home, they were never part of us, but they came to join us. They already have learned something. And so coming into the university system, you have different people who you come across with. Now, it's not left for you to know where to pitch your tent. It is what you like that attracts you. It's very, very clear. Some are forced to, learn bad character, so to speak, when they, over time, stay with those persons whose attitude towards a particular thing is to the other side. And so when you look at friendship and this character formation, you also know that it has a long way. It has a tie with how the individual behaves. Some are very lucky. Some who comes from a very good background are not tempted. They know themselves and then they go along with whatever they see. But some who cannot control themselves are easily lured and it becomes a problem.
Wonderful. Speaking of your great university, your great institution, it's an institution that is known for producing a lot of solid people, both in character and in their careers. So what tips or what steps does the University of Benin actually take in the formation of their students' characters?
When you look at character formation again, in University of Benin, when they are giving you certificates, they tell you you have been found worthy in character and in learning. Although to so many of them, they come to class, they learn money tonight, and then for 4, 5, 6 years, when they graduate, what we find them worthy in first is in character, which means that as you pass through the school needs to pass through you. You are given free hand to learn. You are being mentored by different lecturers. They come in, you meet with academic and non-academic staff. You see things for yourself. Even among your peers, you are given room to learn. You are given this freedom to choose between good and bad. For some, when they are in secondary school, they are forced to go for lectures. But when you are in the university,
nobody forces you.
They just give you a paper. Guide yourself. And whatever you take out of it makes you who you are. And so when you look at the formation, you see that it is an higher institution. And so you are allowed to flow in all ramifications. That is why they have students' association. They have different religious bodies that also helps them in building their leadership qualities.
Okay, but sometimes in the university, people also get into all sorts of bad in the university sometimes. So how does the university try to stop such things from happening?
One, it is very simple. When you come into the university, you are given a program of activity. You are expected to follow it to the latter. But a situation where a student deviates, it becomes a challenge. And what the university does is to constantly, through the various mechanisms that have been put in place, checkmate the attitude of our students. For instance, whoever is involved in malpractice has already displayed a very, very bad character. And the person has to face the law. If the system is lenient enough, that person is asked to stay away from the university for 2 years. You stay away, you stay at home for 2 years and learn your lesson. Just as imagine a chap who is already in his final year. The person is given additional 2 years. And so that person needs to wake up and believe that nobody ever have his cake and eat it.
Yes.
And whatever the person does, will always the person has a way of paying back.
Wonderful. All right, sir. So we're going to be talking more about importance of character formation, but we have to go on this short break so that we can see what the people on the streets have to say. Our show is never complete without opinions from our people on the streets. So when we come back from this short break, we'll be talking more about the importance of character formation with the PRO of the University of Benin, Mr. Michael Osasuyi. Stay with us.
Good morning, Namaka.
Good morning.
Who is responsible for the character formation of an individual?
I feel like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. So the church is involved in raising a child. I feel a character formation in a child or any person is solely the responsibility is solely on the church and the family as well, because you can't just rely on yourself or one particular place to get support. You need the support of God, which is the church, and then you need the support of your loved ones, which comes from your immediate family.
Okay. So what about the society?
The society also has a role to play in character formation, but I feel like that's where what you've learned from your church and then your family now comes to play, because what you see outside is not always true. Like they say, all that glitters is not gold. So it's not everything you can really, because you have to sieve everything you get from the society. So that's particularly where what you gain from your church and your family now comes in.
Who is responsible for character formation of an individual?
Family members. It's the family members.
What about the church and the society? They have no role to play?
No. The family, if your family want, they can run you down from your family. Because the church and the society, they don't know much about you. It's only your family members that can speak about you.
The church and the individual's family. So,
Why just the two?
well, the church, because really that's where our faith is formed, and the family, because you live with them, you grow up with them, they guide almost all of your interactions. So those are like the closest people to you while you're growing up. So it basically forms you, those relations.
All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the show. We are talking the importance of character formation with the PRO of the University of Benin, Mr. Michael Osasuyi. We have seen so many wonderful takes on the streets, and there are some questions that I have from those takes that we just viewed right now, sir. So the question was asked to people, who is responsible for a person's character formation? And most of the answers tended towards the family members, peer groups, and basically everything that surrounds the person. But one particular take was talking about just the family members. So what do you have to say concerning that, sir?
When you look at formation in its entirety, it begins with the family. The family happens to be the basic. For instance, the child is carried in the mother's womb. The first set of persons that associates with the child is the family. And when the family decides to play a positive role in the character building of that child, it's going to be very, very wonderful. The society has less work. But when the work is pushed from the family to the society or to the church, it becomes more difficult. And so I agree with that, that man very, very seriously, that it must begin with the family.
Wonderful. So that means that nothing from the outside, no influence from the outside can change what the person has gotten from the family.
In our earlier discussion, you agree with me that in the course of talking, we said there are some chaps whose peers cannot influence. What it means is that they know where they are coming from.
Okay.
But a situation where you don't know where you are coming from,
It becomes
a problem. They can easily catch you and you learn the wrong thing.
Wonderful.
But when the family's value is placed right, then you have no issue.
All right, that makes a lot of sense, sir. So let's talk now about values. What exactly are values?
Simply put, value is the importance ascribed to a place or something. And so if you look at it, it is what you have importance in that becomes your priority. If you have importance in bad company, it becomes your priority. If you have importance in good company, then it also becomes your priority. So it is the importance you ascribe to something or ascribe to a place that is simply said to be value.
So does that mean that if I don't form my character properly, I cannot possess values that are good?
It's very simple. When your character is to the negative, your value will also be to the negative.
So there can't be any rare cases at all. Like, okay, for example, I value my time alone. Whatever I do alone is another topic for another day, but I value alone time, which means I value silence, I value serenity, but maybe my character has 1 or 2 flaws. Does that mean that that can't work at all?
Now, when you look at what you value, we are looking at it from the context of how you live your life daily, what is in you, and what people now sees in you. And it is not what you actually tell people you are that makes the message. It is what they feel, what they perceive in you. That is why when we define character, we said it's mental and it's moral. All of this, they just come with you, whether you are ready to let it out or not. The thing shows itself. And so there is no way you have wrong values and you say you have good character. It's not possible.
Wonderful, sir. So, okay, what are some of the benefits of having good characters?
1, good association. When you have good character, you attract good people. When you have good character, you are able to send good message and people emulate from you. When you have good character, you can change a bad person to be a good person.
Wonderful.
Because in life, people look at you and learn. People want to see the good side of you, and then they want to be like you. And so you have so many things to offer. And even to yourself, when you already know that what you do is acceptable by all, there is this satisfaction, there is this fulfillment in you.
Wonderful. So what you said earlier piqued my interest. One of the benefits of having a good character is that you can also change a person who is bad to become good. So can bad characters actually be unlearned?
When a child is born, different school of thought believe in different things. The mind is very plain. And because the mind of the child is plain, what the child learns is what matters. Whatever you have learned can be unlearned. If today I've been smoking and I decide not to smoke again, it means that I have to change my orientation all over again. And so the answer is that it is very, very possible for you to drop that bad character and pick the good one.
Wonderful. Okay, sir. So can you now tell us some of the ways by which a person can build his good characters?
1, you must be yourself. You must see things the way they are. When you are yourself, you will now know that you can have self-control. When you are yourself, you know that you can trust people and people can also trust you. When you are yourself, you can bring about, you can be humble. You can let people know that there are so many things in you that they can see to emulate. And that and so many others that I cannot easily mention.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Mr. Michael Osasuyi. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. It's been a pleasure. All right, so if you have any more questions pertaining this topic on how you can build your character, you can visit us, you can send us a message on our social media platforms at CFFONTV, various social media platforms, same handle. We're also on YouTube as Dominican Media Presents, where you can catch past episodes of the show, and you should also subscribe so that you can keep up with our great and amazing content. Until we come your way next time with another wonderful episode, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.